about now is the platform ecosystems and how they could possibly unlock the business model opportunities for our subcontractors in the construction industry. How does this work? Okay, so let's start from here to get everybody awake a little bit this morning. So what we actually think is that in 5 to 10 years' time, the role of the general contractor, main contractor, as it is today, will not exist anymore.
And this maybe is a bit worrying about me because oh, is it working? No. So I'm also a bit worried about this because I'm working for the main contractor, but on the other hand, I clearly see that the value creation is not enough what we do as of today, and that's the reason why there are threat of disruption.
So the reason also behind why we can claim that is that when we look at the global trends, the digitalization of different sectors has started already quite a long time ago. When we look at the mobile phone business, for example, in 2007 there were 5 companies who were basically controlling the market, and less than 10 years after that there was only Apple who generated 92% of all the global profits. Whereas when we go to the accommodation business, we have Marriott, which has been on the market 90 years, and then we have Airbnb, which has been around 9 years. And currently the valuation of Airbnb is higher than Marriott's, and they can offer more rooms in more countries than the competitor. If we look this from the bottom-up perspective, although there are a little bit controversial news, for example, in our home country Finland about Uber, which is currently illegal, there is still some individual people, like one professional Finnish taxi driver who had started to work for Uber instead of traditional taxi company, said that nowadays he can, or when working for Uber, he could earn same amount of money in 8 hours instead of 10 to 11 hours, which was his normal working hours per day before joining Uber. And this included paying taxes, so it's not unfair competition in this case. And also yesterday during panel discussion, we heard that in the construction industry, it has already started. At least in the Dutch construction sector, there are already some disruptors in the market who are using digitalization.
So, if we look at the business model of platform, first of all, they have the tendency of removing friction and waste, so they are terrific because they are so extremely lean. And if we go through the examples, we can see that they also remove the man in the middle. They remove the dispatchers, like paint contractors, from the value chain. Second thing is the fact that they tend to scale without investment. They don't require money like the traditional pipeline business model or as the grow, if you try to grow that business. And they are very quickly global. So you can't protect yourself by thinking that, okay, so something is happening now in US, it will land to EU very And because of the fact that they grow in value, they get more money very easily. So the technology, or they can invest into technology and development in a way that we haven't seen before. Also, they increase customer value in manner which I'd say they even provide new opportunities and resources to the market where we haven't had access to that value or market opportunity before. But I also see that they are quite terrifying due to the fact that they can become monopolies or even monsters, and they affect to the societies and even individuals, as we have seen with the case of Uber. So I think first of all we have to define what's the business model, and in principle it is quite clear. It's the way how we create or co-create value, and then how we deliver it, and how we capture the value, customer value, and of course the value to ourselves. But then when we try to then model the business, one could of course use the business model canvas, which is very popular now. But we could also model our business through the value chain. For example, by using the Porter's model, and by using that as a lens, it is easy to understand how the traditional business model is like pipeline. We have sources of materials or resources, and we try to protect them, try to keep them available only for us, not for our competitors. And then we have step by step a process where we add on something to the service or product, and finally we have something what we can give away for the customer. And this is the traditional way of doing things. And this is how we operate in construction business nowadays. So if we then try to figure out what is the platform business model, we have to start with two groups of customers. There are potential producers and potential consumers who in some manner join to the platform because of the value of the ecosystem or platform can provide for both these groups. And inside the platform there's always a transaction system which is first of all providing a matchmaking so that the producer and consumer can reach each other and have a best match. And also the platform provides means to create value, to exchange it and consume it. So that there is a cloud of producers and consumers hanging out in a platform. They are curated there, and everything what we do there is recorded and used. So this is cloud-based, very analytic way of doing business. So finally you have to have something by which you control those who are behaving bad. use the existing platforms, we see different type of ratings, curations for both consumers, producers, and huge amount of transactions. And one reason why these platforms are so powerful is the fact that internet, cloud computing, just removed the transaction costs from the equation. Then, if we look some of the platforms which are open, they also provide possibility to others to join in with their business. So you can hook up your own business model on top of someone else's platform and benefit or create value and benefit both platforms, and of course earn more money in this area.
Yeah, and when we look at the really simplified example in the construction sector, it might look something like this. So here on the left side, you see this is basically the traditional pipe model, which is probably really familiar to many of us. So on the left side, you see basically the subcontracting chain in a way, the supply chain, and on the right side there is the end customer, which can be our client or users of the buildings or whatever. In our case example, it was apartment buyer. And then in between, depending on the contractual relationships, contracts which have been selected to deliver the project, you have the developer, consultant, main contractor. You have the design consultants, architects, engineers, etc. They can be several. This is just like to mention a few. They can be under developer or under main contractor or both. Depends. And how actually this setup, which we are familiar with, relates to the platforms. So the consumers are our customers, the clients and the end users. And the producers are the ones who actually create the value. Of course, you see that main contractor is not in the producer's side in this case, because often, of course, the main contractor also can provide value. They can have their own workers and actually do some works, but in many cases they are just project management type of companies who don't do so much by themselves. So what is left is the traditional matchmakers, the main contractors, consultants, and developers who actually put together the clients on the other side, the consumers in the platform language, with the producers. And how does this work then? Well, these green dots are depicting the relationships between different actors. And when we are discussing our example case, which was a specialized customer request to have a red velvet rose wallpaper in the apartment building, in an apartment in the bedroom. So we had an apartment buyer who wanted to specialize or make a little bit different his or her own apartment. I think it's somehow justified because it was the biggest, or apartment buying is in general, if you buy an apartment, that's one of your biggest investments in your life if you're not investing to something else. But anyway, so they wanted to have something which would make the apartment look like themselves. And in this kind of setup we normally have in the construction sector, the case is that the main contractor developer, they might have their kind of own standardized assortment, some selection for the client to choose from. But the selection is done, what is the underlying reason that there is some kind of standardization or for the assortment of the client is that that would make the process to work smoother. If this person can select from all the surface treatments in the world, that makes the delivery of the project very difficult. But from the customer perspective, that's not maybe the best approach. So if they want something special, basically the information goes through, probably to architect, or if there's an interior designer, and then it goes all the way to the final subcontractor who should actually do the work. In this specific case, it was agreed that the customer will buy the wallpaper by themselves, and then one of the subcontractors will install it. Well, since the main contractors and the developers are basically defining the market and the requirements for the market of the subcontractors, the demand comes from, the direct demand comes from them. So the market is set up in such a way to serve the demands of the main contractor and developer. And in this specific case, installation of velvet wallpaper was not something which is core competence of these subcontractors, who normally provide are efficient to provide standardized products. And it failed. So as a result of this value creation trial for the customer, it was actually value destroying of the value for the customer, because they couldn't move in, because there was still some works going on, for the main contractor because they had to coordinate all this and at the end pay for the new wallpaper and purchase it, and for the subcontractor because they had to come again to the apartment while they were already working in another site to do this small specific task. So what would this then mean in the platform world? So in total you can think about this. So it doesn't really work and it doesn't create any value. It creates waste and variation in the process and doesn't help the completion of the whole thing. So if we look at the platform world, what could this mean? Basically, platforms would be there in between the customers and the producers. And so the producers could actually get real-time information of the market, of the customer needs and customer demands, and also maybe deliver efficiently, respond to these demands efficiently, and create more value. So platforms could unlock some market what would exist if there wouldn't be these gatekeepers in between. And then just to finalize this, as a Lean conference, we have to talk about Lean, of course, but in this case, it's like inevitable. Basically, the basic function of platforms, if you want to have a winning platform, a successful platform, you actually have to follow most of the Lean principles. They are just natural for the platforms. We think that value is really in the key. Value is defined by the client, by the consumer of the value, and basically platform works based on the value. Platforms are maybe more value networks than value streams, because value stream actually fits better into the pipeline model. There is pull, there is need from the customers, and there is perfection through the curation process. But the flow, that is really important to construction sector, and this is not like solved with the platform just like this. So that at least should be investigated further. Thank you.